You'd think a moment like this is a time when you want all governments, federal and state, singing from the same song sheet, but apparently they're not.
Yeah, there's tension again between the federal government and the states, and particularly New South Wales again, this time on the stimulus package, Kieran. So, look, we've seen clashes between New South Wales and the federal government on bushfire funding, climate change and even coronavirus health funding. And it seems some in the federal government are displeased that recently New South Wales Treasurer Dominic Perrottet told the federal government he was still keen on delivering a surplus despite the coronavirus situation, and he wasn't looking to do that much on stimulus, his argument being that the economy is in a pretty reasonable state. Now, I've got some quotes that I'll get to on him in a minute, but the federal government wants state and local governments to do their bit on stimulus, and this is becoming a real characteristic of the Morrison Prime Ministership, a demand that the states do more. We see this time and time again. One federal source described Mr Perrottet's attitude on the way the New South Wales economy is tracking as alarming in his view of the New South Wales economic situation. The federal government's happy with Queensland. They've already put some payroll tax relief out there, and they regard Victoria as in a financial situation it finds tougher to provide some stimulus itself. But they believe New South Wales, in quite a healthy situation, could do a bit more. The federal government, incidentally, they won't be providing any money to the states to assist with providing short-term payroll tax relief. They want the states to do that, fund that themselves. Now, Mr Perrottet has come back at this story. He's given me some comments this afternoon. Let's have a look at those. He's told Sky News the New South Wales government is completely focused on the people of our state ahead of the budget. And then this quote, pretty interesting. Unlike other governments, we will always put people before numbers. He says, as I've said on numerous occasions, the only thing the New South Wales government is focused on is those who've been affected by drought, by fires, and those industries affected as a result of coronavirus. And it's my understanding Mr Perrottet is now looking at a New South Wales stimulus package after these discussions with the federal government, Kieran.
And Andrew, so when we've seen this happen over the fires and now over coronavirus, surely this is something that the governments have to deal with. As I say, you really want them to be working cohesively at a time right now when we're talking about such a massive issue that the country's facing.
It is of concern, I guess. I guess there are little squabbles in the background, but a lot of it does seem to be based on the New South Wales Liberal Party, and Gladys Berejiklian, Dominic Perrottet and Scott Morrison are all from different factions within that party. Scott Morrison's from the centre-right, Gladys Berejiklian's from the moderates, Dominic Perrottet from the right wing. It's hard to believe some of those historical enmities aren't playing a part, but outside of that, it's really the bad feeling over that bushfires period when Scott Morrison was looking to put in the Army Reservists and Gladys Berejiklian didn't request them, where things started to go pear-shaped in these relationships, and now there seems to be constant squabbles over funding. I guess after the fires and with the coronavirus, everyone's budget's in a bit of strife, so people believe things should be shared equitably, and when there's any niggle on that, that seems to be coming to the surface and being revealed on Sky News, Kieran.
Indeed, and before I let you go this hour, we'll talk again next hour, but I want to get your thoughts on this idea of cash payments, because the coalition's been so critical, as you well know, of Labor in its GFC response more than a decade ago, largely due to the cash splash. But this is something that has been on the table, apparently, during these stimulus talks now.
It's definitely been discussed, which surprises me, because the Prime Minister's made a point of really criticising that Rudd stimulus package. Now, we know that his package is going to be $5 to $10 billion and closer to $10 billion, which was the same as the first Rudd package in size. But that first Rudd package was just the $900 cheques. There's no suggestion of that at the federal level. Again, this morning, after getting some hints, cash handouts could happen, I had the clear steer they wouldn't be. But there's absolutely no doubt they've been discussed, and that it seems there's some argument there that they could be worthwhile. I would never expect a $900 payout, and I think that it's more likely than not we won't see those kind of handouts. But isn't giving cash to small businesses a similar thing anyway? I think Paul Kelly said on Sunday Agenda yesterday, Kieran, that the government should try to make sure it doesn't get too hung up on any similarities to the Rudd stimulus when the economy needs stimulus, and that's one of the challenges for the Prime Minister in the days ahead.